such sights to show you.
You are all going to die tonight.
This is bad comedy.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back once again. It is that time where we gather around to chit the chat, talk the bollocks, as we do. My name's JB, and with me as ever, she's a queen of mean. She keeps them keen. Well, somebody keen. And she loves ice cream. It is Callie Valentine.
Good evening, everyone. The bitch is back, as always.
That bitch.
So, how you been, JB?
Yeah, I've been all right in the 18 hours since I last saw you.
Yeah. It's like this is going to be like the shortest part of the show. How have you been since last night?
Yeah, I've been all right, Tal.
Yeah, I woke up with a little bit of a headache about 9:30 this morning, but I had a smoke, got comfy on the sofa. I was like, no. I've been through this roller coaster before. I'm going to get me some sleep early because if I try and push through the day, I'm just going to feel worse and worse. So I slept for an hour or two, and now I feel fine, apart from a sore throat. Other from screaming and shouting, obviously, to talk to people all night. My throat's wrecked. Other than that, everything's gravy, baby.
Yeah, I've gone from rocking and rolling and playing the gigs to folding laundry. Them's the breaks.
It really is. It's not sex, drugs, and rock and roll, really, when you break it
No,
down.
it's laundry. It's it's folding up your kids' school uniform.
It's the lifestyle of socks, rugs, and sausage rolls.
Yeah.
That's basically it. But yeah, went to watch Hoodoo Voodoo playing last night at the Royal Oak in Burton upon Trent. If you are in the local area, the next time they're playing, I highly recommend going and checking it out. Didn't get a chance to tell you last night because I was quite inebriated. And but the one thing I did definitely want to comment the band on was the selection of tracks, the songs you actually did. It was a nice, good range.
Yeah, a lot of folks seem to say that. They seem to like that, so thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it was stuff from the 60s, 70s, 80s. I mean, the Hey Jude you did.
We didn't do Hey Jude.
Did you not?
No.
I could have sworn you did Hey Jude.
No, we did come together.
That's how drunk I was. But yeah, me and my friends, we were all sat around the table drinking, singing along to that. Yeah, so
marvelous. Right, that's enough about me.
Yes, anyway, moving on with the show. Time for the fucking shout outs.
I'd say so, yes.
Oh, yes, very much so, yes. But jumping back to our Star Wars Expanded Media episode, we have the son of the Pertwee, the Calico Crichton himself, Mr. Tony Harris from the Retro Movie Zone. And there's great episode as usual. I had no clue how much Star Wars Expanded Media there was out there. It is a vast subject to cover, and you did a cracking job covering it. Again, reiterating the point from last week when we talked about this, we couldn't cover everything. We just covered our sort of favorite picks. If there is anything that people, the viewers, commenters, want us to take a closer look at, let us know in the comments, and we'll sort of talk it about and see if we can track down said expanded media for one and check it out.
Talking about.
You know what I mean? I'm recovering still. Fuck off. My only brush with it came with paperback books, the Star Wars Weekly Marvel Comics of the 70s. Again, see, that's exactly what I mean. Like, that's something we could take a closer look at. Because I'm vaguely aware that there was a comic book around in the 70s, but never actually read an issue. So, mate, again, if we revisit it, that's something for us to take a look at.
Yeah.
which I'm sure I still have up in the attic. And of course, my beloved 8mm condensed version of the original movie, which were my prized possessions back in the 70s when I had a projector and a white bed sheet to throw on it on. Happy days, smiley face emoji.
I bet that's not the only thing you showed on it. Hey, candid. Hey,
No, come on. No comment on that one.
wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no.
Shit, I think Sid's come over here. You've sent him my way, you bastard. Anyway, moving on. My mouse was in the right place. That's what she said. Sue, in response to my comments, for saying thank you for making me look like a twat. You're very welcome. I'll point stuff out in the future, Callie. Always happy to help. See you all on the next one. Well, here we are on the next one.
Hello.
Back to Tony again. Hey guys.
Greedy boy.
I know. He's greedy this time around. He's got two two shout outs. No more mention for you for the rest of the episode. Not going to happen. Not with what we've got to talk about. Hey guys, was determined to get my comment in on time this week. I will be bloody heard, god damn it all. See, when he types things like that, the Victor Meldrew contest winner thing seems to do very well.
Crichton's getting all lippy.
Yeah, I think Crichton needs to have a head swap.
Yeah.
Right. Great episode as per usual. Again, you've educated me in the world of a very little in a world I knew very little about. I always thought with Predator it was just the movies. How wrong could I have been? Comic books, figures, paperbacks, etc. Those Dark Horse comic books look amazing and the artwork is brilliant. Yeah, as I said in the episode, I think some of the artwork, not all of it, but I think some of it, especially the covers, were done by the Hellboy artists. So, yeah.
Well, it's not just the artwork either. The stories are great.
Oh, the story's fucking fantastic. I mean, I was thinking about this throughout the week after we did the episode. I was like, I very much was one of those people who were like, no, like back in the day, like I heard of Predator comics. I was like, no, they can't be better than the films.
You're one of those people.
Yes, one of those people. Yes, but you know, I thought it won't work as a comic book, but I was fucking proven wrong. So, but yeah, Tony goes on to say, been thinking of watching Hail to the Deadites for ages, but something always popped me off. Now you've spoken about it in such glowing terms, I'm definitely going to go take a look. Yeah, like I said, it does tell you a little bit about the history of the films, but in all honesty, there's been so many versions of the DVD released over the years with so many different variations of the special features of like the making of, the behind the scenes. I mean, I've got Evil Dead 2, and there's a special feature on there hosted by Bruce Campbell called Fanatic, and it's about him going to a convention and meeting the fans and things like that, and it's about sort of from his perspective. So watching that along with Hail to the Deadites, you kind of get both sides of the story, like what it's like for the fans to meet him, but also what it's like for him to meet the fans. So yeah, very, very good show. Definitely give it a watch. Also love the idea of the TV series set on the Predator's homeworld. Yeah, that one's going to come up a lot more.
Copyright JB.
Yeah. That's one I'd absolutely give a watch. Must take your advice from a few weeks ago and catch up with all the movies, as I've still only watched the first one. This is the point of the show, Tony, where we go full parental on you, right? And I'm not going to scream at you. I'm not going to shout at you because I'm not angry with you, Tony. I'm just very disappointed.
As am I. And your watch list is longer than King Kong's dick. Cool.
No, I'm not.
Nope.
That with the barge pole.
Neither was he.
I would need
Fucking
one.
barge pole's not big enough.
Oh, I was going to say, I would need one, wouldn't I? Really enjoyed this episode and eagerly await the next one. Well, here it is. And the final comment of the week. Great. It comes from our friend of the show, Mr. Jimmy Lee Clifford, the mouth of the South himself.
That's not the last one.
Predator Expanded. I'm scrolling up. That's as oh no, sorry. This is the last one from the channel. We have a special one coming up. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding me, guy.
Come on
now. Great. This is coming from, like I said, friend of the show, Jimmy Lee Clifford, the mouth of the Southwest Yorkshire. Great job again. Really enjoyed learning a bit more about this universe. Only watched a few of the films and not so much of the newer ones. Newer ones are hit and miss. Very hit and miss. Predators in retrospective is a lot better than The Predator, but Prey, watch it, please. Even if you skip over the 2019 film to go straight to Prey, by all means, go for it. Remember reading some of the comics what felt like a lifetime ago. Yeah, we ain't getting much fucking younger. Last night proved that for me. Hope this week's podcast goes well, considering you're recovering from a gig I remember attending last night. Bloody awesome night. Till the next one, Jimmy Lee signing out with a little emoji cowboy hat. But that's it then for the shout out. We will move it quickly on to the next segment of the show then, guy.
No, we won't. We got a special shout out.
Shit, yeah, sorry.
Wow, I really did break it.
You fucking did, didn't you? It was you or it was the vodkas. I'm not sure which one.
A little from column A, a little from column B.
Right, this is actually a special shout out because it's the first time here on the channel we actually have to go outside of the channel comments and over to Facebook to reply to Mark Bailey. This is why, Mark, I have not replied to your comments directly on Facebook because I was like, well, something to reply to tonight on tonight's episode. So we'll go with the first comment you made, if I can fucking find which one it is. Right, only watched 10 minutes so far. I'm going to have to come back to this because Predator is my favorite movie. And you did come back. But the rest of the comment for that was, I only watched Star Wars for the first time about 5 years ago. I've seen all the movies. Controversially, I'm guessing, but Solo is my favorite.
Really?
That face, fucking. I've not seen it, so I can't pass judgment.
Listen much.
that snap reaction from you then, you're like, what? You should be cast out, you sacrilegious.
It's a good job I like you, Mark.
I've seen all of the Mandalorian and the Obi-Wan series, not bothered with anything else as I just haven't got the time to be going into all of it. Yeah, I think this is one of my big problems with Star Wars at the moment is I like Star Wars. I do. I like playing the video games. I like the original films. The prequel trilogy is passable for me. The first one can get in the bin with Jar Jar fucking Brinks. And the newer trilogy, take it or leave it on that one for me, really. But when it comes to the expanded media, like The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Acolyte, Obi-Wan, all this stuff that's just going, just getting bigger. It's the mushroom clouds getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm feeling the blast wave hitting me, and I just can't keep up with it. That's my problem.
Mandalorian.
Pardon?
You'd like The Mandalorian.
Like I said, I did start watching it, but big chunks of it got spoiled for me by, thank you very much, Jimmy Lee Clifford. You were the one who spoiled most of season 2 for me before I'd even got halfway through season 1. That's why I stopped watching it. Like I said, because I knew that these characters are seeing them in this perilous situation. I'm like, oh, I hope they make it to the next episode to find out late on the night on a party chat that, oh yeah, they're in season 2. Oh, thanks. Okay, well, the tension's just gone.
Well, in that case, do try Obi-Wan.
I will. I've seen a couple of clips, and I've heard about the rematch with Vader, which that's piqued my interest because even with the original, sorry, really big tangent here, but even with the original trilogy, when Obi-Wan's talking to Luke about it, it's almost like, again, sort of perfect for expanded media when you're a kid. Your brain kind of goes, well, maybe this happened between them, or maybe that happened between them. And there's a reason why they have this back and forth with each other. You know, it's not like there's a hatred between them. It's like they're on opposite sides of the line. You know, there's a respect there. You got that from the very first film, that they're enemies, but they got that respect for each other. You know, and that's one thing that's always intrigued me. But yeah, back to Mark's comments. Yeah. This week I have watched Supercell and the last 4 Supercell. And the last 4 episodes of Billy the Kid. Watch the last 4 episodes of season 2 of Billy the Kid. Chucky is on the Sci-Fi channel on Sky TV. I unfortunately don't have Sky TV.
But I do.
Well, all right, I'm coming to yours for a weekend then. I'll buy the beer and the pizza. But Mark also commented as well. Well, holy shit, my favorite movie is indeed the original Predator movie. I watch it at least twice a year, and I love the whole movie franchise. But I've never been a comic book reader of any kind. But Predator versus Batman with a Joker xenomorph, this shit, I think that was actually from a Batman versus Alien comic. I could be mistaken though, because they also did a Superman versus Alien comic.
Yeah.
So it was in that late 80s period where DC were, to try and stay afloat, were crossing over with whoever the fuck would take them. Basically.
Throw shit against the wall and whatever sticks.
If you jump online on like your old Googleator and you type in NECA Joker Xenomorph, you will see some pictures of the action figure. So, and it's a creepy looking fucking thing. With Joker Xenomorph. This shit I have got to see. I might invest in a novel though. Any suggestions on where to start on that? The one that I showed off last week. It is a group of collected stories, but that is a good place to start. There are a few other just straight up novels, but from what I can remember, most of those are just the novelization of the film. There are 1 or 2 original stories, but I don't know the names off by heart. I will double check online, and if I do find them, I will reply to your comment on Facebook with the names of those books. And if I find links for them, I'll even send you the links so you can go straight for them. Because I'm nice like that.
He's nice.
I'd love to see a Predator series rather than a movie. A series set on your Watch Prime sounds great. That's our dream kind of thing. Like, I only ever played 1 video game, and that was the Mega Drive game based on the second movie, and you play as Harrigan. Yes, I do remember playing that. Me and one of my friends, we spent an afternoon taking it a level each, and we actually completed it. And this was back in the time period where if you lost all your lives on a video game, you didn't load up your last save point. No. You went back to the fucking beginning of the game. So if you lost all your lives on that last boss on like stage 10, I think it was, you were back to the beginning again.
Yes, you were.
You know, so completing it in an afternoon was a freaking achievement back then. So, yeah, but that's the last of Mark's comments. So thank you, Mark, for being our first ever Facebook comment here on Who You Geeky Showing.
Indeed. Cheers, buddy.
Yeah, we'll make you a little crown or something.
Yeah.
Right, down. Now we can move on to the next section, Guy. Go on, roll us in.
We can. So, the question asked down through the gutters and drain pipes of history, going back to the Elizabethan age and probably before. What have you been watching there?
Well, this week I've been watching more Supernatural. I'm nearly at the end of season 7 now. I had a sleepless night one night last week, and I was like, you know what? While I cannot sleep, like my brain's actually wide awake, not like, oh, I'm tired, I'm dozing. No, while I was sat there, like, I want to sleep, but I'm not going to be able to. I thought, fuck it, put Supernatural on, marathon it. I got through 6 episodes.
Nice.
So, I plowed through season 7. I'm nearly at the end of it now. Other than that, I did do a couple of rewatches. I rewatched The Terminator because I haven't seen it in a while. Hold my hands up. I haven't seen it in a while. And slight tangent here, and hope you might agree with me on this one, Guy. But I've noticed as I've got older, and maybe it's just better sound quality of the newer versions of it that come out. I've started to appreciate the subtle sound design within that film a little bit more because I never really noticed it as a kid. But I heard it. That's the weird thing. I heard it as a kid, but I never really paid much attention to it. It's the bit in where the Terminator first encounters Kyle and Sarah, and Kyle's popping at the Tech Noir nightclub. Yeah, and he's popping at him with the shotgun. I noticed there's a distinctive metallic tunk as the Terminator's getting shot. And it was one of those things that, like I said, I heard it as a kid, didn't think nothing of it. But listening to it now, as soon as that bit started, I was like, oh, I love the subtlety of that there, James. Where it's not fully revealed he's a cyborg at that point. So when he's getting shot and you're hearing these metallic tung, tung, tung underneath the shotguns, it's like, because he's metal underneath. That's an audio hint, wink towards what he actually is. And
his Foley on that is really good.
Yeah. And it made me sort of flick back through like mental imagery. And I'm like, I remember watching Predator, and even at the very, very beginning scene where they find the strung up bodies, carefully in the background, you can hear the Predator clicking. You can hear that gently in the background. I was like, motherfucker, how many more films am I going to have to rewatch now with this new perception of sound and pick up? Because I noticed it when I rewatched Evil Dead when I did the Miss Violet Evil Dead thing. I watched Evil Dead for the first time with headphones on, and my headphones have got 3D stereo sound, so it sounds like you're. I know. I bought them on a cheap from HMV. They were on sale. They're posh, whatever. But when I had it on, I noticed that when they were playing the tape in the cabin, I could hear like demonic chitter and chattering in the background as that tape was playing. And then when the tape was stopped, that would stop as well. I was like, I've never noticed that. I've watched this film hundreds of times at this point in my life, and I've never noticed that. So I think there's a lot to be said about sound design within films that you might not necessarily notice on the first viewing. But now that I've started to pick it up and started to notice these little things in films, I'm starting to rewatch some older films. And speaking of some older films, and kind of an underground film, I suppose, from an underground comic, I rewatched Tank Girl with Laurie Petty and the legend that is Malcolm McDowell, being his scenery chewingest, hammiest acting bad guy that only he knows how to do. So if you've never seen Tank Girl,
it's been a long time since I saw that.
it popped up on Prime. It was on my suggested thing. I was like, I've not watched that since I was in college. What? I need to watch it.
There you go.
But go on then, Guy. What have you been watching, honey?
Well, I've been watching Supernatural.
Surprise, surprise.
I know, right? We're on to season... What is it, dear? We're on to season 13.
You've got 2 more seasons after this one, then.
Yep. Let's see, what else have I been watching? The Bear. We've started. New season of The Bear is fantastic so far. If you've not seen it,
you stayed awake past the first episode this time, then?
Yes, I did.
I remember you saying last week you put it on and
Well, I'm getting an old man now. Yeah, but I'm doing a bit of a toning.
Go for a nap.
Yeah, we're doing a rewatch through Beverly Hills before we get to XLF.
Yeah, that's what I want to do because
Yeah.
I've not watched. I was thinking about it the other day. Someone on Tony's group on Facebook was talking about like they just watched it.
Yeah,
And
Jason Harrod.
it made me realize that I haven't actually watched any of them since I was maybe 13, 14.
Yeah.
I remember watching the third one. I remember watching the third one because he had that ludicrously oversized gun that had like a TV and a stereo and a rocket launcher and all sorts built into it. And I was like, I kind of like that one.
Yeah,
But it
I
has made me
like
want to
it.
go back and rewatch the whole thing.
Yeah, so we did number one, you and I. Since then we've been busy, so we're getting
Yeah.
there. Let's see. I also if you've not seen it, there's a thing. Have you got Netflix?
Yes.
Yeah, right. There's a show on there called King of Collectibles. It's really worth a watch.
It is on my watch list.
Yeah, it's
It
really,
popped up.
really good.
It popped up
Yeah.
when Cassie was here last weekend.
Mm.
It popped up because when she's here, she likes to watch things like Big Bang and stuff on Netflix. It's one of the only reasons why I still keep Netflix is because she has it on her devices. So
yeah,
she can watch it on the big screen rather than small screen. And it popped up as a suggested thing. And I was like, oh, that looks like my kind of thing.
it really is cool. What it is basically golden auction houses. They get the highest of high-end stuff. A lot of it is sports memorabilia.
Yes.
But they're moving into big on pop culture now and music stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
and they're dropping serious dollars. They're the biggest dogs in the yard.
Sort of slightly adjacent to that, I remember watching an episode of the Toy Hunter back when that first aired. I think Toy Hunter is available to watch on Prime. And if you've
wicked! I'd
never watched it, it is kind of because I don't know if you've never seen it. The premise of it is there's this guy, he's best toy hunter there is, and he goes around to like private collectors, flea markets, all those kind of places, and finds the rarest of the rare. And what he'll do is, if it's something that he's buying from someone, he will obviously do a markup. But there's a lot of times where he will sell it on somebody's behalf and take like 20, 25%. He got in touch with a former employee of Kenner. Now, we all know Kenner back in the day were famous for a particular toy line that supported a particular film franchise and kind of revolutionized the action figure market in general, really.
Yeah.
Kenner. Now, they made Star Wars toys. And one toy that was never released because of safety concerns was the
rocket firing Boba Fett.
Rocket firing Boba Fett.
Sorry, Boba.
Bob A. Feet. That's my cat. Never mind. Anyway, basically, he got hold of a prototype rocket firing Boba Fett with the mechanism still intact. He took it to, I think he actually took it to San Diego Comic-Con. This was like one of the biggest episodes that they did. And he sold it to a collector. Bear in mind, this was like 2014, 2015, so 10 years ago.
I did see that episode, yeah.
Sold it for $17,500 for a figure that is literally this big.
Yeah, them rocket firers are just stupid money.
Yeah, and the prototype, because they did release it, but the rocket was either glued in place or it was one where you could slot it out, so you could sort of flick it out, but it never had the same power as the spring. And we can thank Battlestar Galactica for that being a thing.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole other Toy Story, but we'll get on that one. But I definitely, when that show popped up, I put it marked on my list, and I was like, that's something I want to watch because it reminded me very much of Toy Hunter. Like,
there is.
kind of
I mean, this geezer, Golden, his business is that big. He owns his own plane.
Jesus. Action figure market's getting bigger though.
Yeah, and well, it's the thing is, a lot of it is sports collectibles, but that's quite interesting as well. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
the one I watched on episode 1 of series 2 today, that this bloke with a serious games collection. Absolutely, you would just drool.
Oh, okay.
So,
May have to sit and give that a binge watch at some point. When I finish Supernatural, there we go.
yeah.
Something else to fill the void in my life at that point.
But anyway, we better crack on.
Yeah, we better crack on and start cracking off. Let's get on with the meat of the episode, guy.
Right, so I've got myself a lovely piece of pine, and I'm going to work on it and plane it down a bit. Then I'm going to varnish it up. Oh no, hold on.
Wrong Pinewood. Wrong Pinewood.
Sorry, wrong podcast. No, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about the legend that is Pinewood Studios.
Exactly.
The biggest in the world.
Pretty much. I mean,
the biggest, the best.
From some of the research I was doing earlier on today, the original site was kind of founded in the early 1930s. It was developed to be a film studio by 1938. One of its first films was actually a co-production. Filming for I can't remember the name of the film, but filming for that began in another studio. But then there was a fire which halted production. So when Pinewood opened, they finished filming it there. But Pinewood's first official film is Talk to the Devil from the year 1939. So I bet Tony went to see this for his 21st birthday.
Yeah, most likely.
Shall I assume the position for a verbal spanking?
Probably best.
He's gonna hate me for that one. But yeah, that was the first official film released by Pinewood Studios, was a film called Talk to the Devil. Never seen it. Don't know nothing about it.
No, nor me. But hey, we've got Tony to ask about.
We can get Tony to do a review of it.
Anyhow, so yeah,
yeah, probably quite possibly one of the biggest, best known, well known studios.
They've got the biggest water tank,
which is still in use. Still the original
permanently filmed.
That was one little bit of trivia I found out earlier, that the tank that was originally installed is pretty much the same thing. There's been replacement parts here or there, but it's still in use from all the way back in the 50s and the 60s, right the way through till today. It's still used.
Let's face it, folks, if you're a fan of films, pretty much everything you like has been filmed there.
Yeah, that was kind of the problem we ran into with this episode, because we were talking about it last week off camera, and we said, oh yeah, we'll just go through, we'll pick 5 films each, and we'll talk about them, the fact that they were made of Pinewood. And then we looked at the list of films, and we were both like, we cannot pick just 5 each. It's going to be impossible. So we kind of tweaked the idea a little bit. And because there's been so many franchises that have had films take place that have been filmed at Pinewood, we're just going to pick a few of those and talk about those for a little bit.
Yeah. Let's not go too obvious, though.
No. Right. Kicking things off, because I've got the list here on my second screen.
Unfortunately, I can't have the list because I'm having technical difficulties tonight, folks. Yes. So I'm recording this on my phone.
But I do remember this franchise of films. This is in no particular order, but we are saving our favourites till later. But I do remember this series of films, and they're known as the Doctor films. Sort of a precursor almost to a later pick later on down the line. They were almost sort of borderline parody, comedy, spoofy type films of a doctor in a hospital. And from the research I did earlier, they started in the late 50s and ran right the way through to the 70s, like Doctor on Call, Doctor on Holiday.
yes,
Though,
yes.
yeah. It took me a moment to go. I know some of these names. I swear I've seen those on like old the UK Gold Channel on Sky. Way back in the day used to show old films. And I swear seeing those on that channel. So it's far reaching roots because I do remember those films. I can't remember if I've ever watched any of them all the way through, but I do remember them.
Yeah, I remember those actually. Yeah.
But,
So
yeah,
you're gonna have to guide the list a little bit for me because obviously I've got
right.
access to it.
I'm trying to go through it year by year. Obviously, the first film was 1939, but then the war happened inconveniently for the cinema goers.
During the war.
Hey, during the war. But I mean, I'm looking through it, and you've got such great films here. Oliver Twist. That was a Pinewood studio film.
Please, sir, have some more.
The Blue Lagoon.
Well, is that the one with Brooke Shields?
I think so. Yeah, Doctor in the House, 1954. Let's see what else we've got here.
We're on the move.
Doctor No in 1962.
Well, let's face it. All the Bonds.
Yep.
Hence the James Bond
City Bang Bang in 1968.
City what?
68.
Titty what?
Bang Bang.
Titty gangbang?
Yeah.
I don't think they did porn.
Well, Bugsy Malone, 1976.
Oh, now there we go. Bugsy Malone. I bloody love Bugsy Malone.
Jodie Foster's one of her very, very early roles. In fact, I think one of her first.
Yeah, and a very young Dexter Fletcher.
Yes,
And young Scott Baio.
Yes. This is one
Baio or Baio?
I think it's pronounced Baio.
Right. Okay.
But the one thing I will say is looking at this list, and you realize how many careers passed through the halls of Pinewood. You've had some of the all-time fucking greats of Hollywood over the last. You've got to face it. 15 years from now, 14 years from now, the studio is going to celebrate its 100th year. Right? It's a mountain. We can't tackle all of this, but we're doing our best. The names that pass through that place, just
anything you like. Aliens.
The Alien franchise has passed through there. The first three, at the very least. But I mean, Little Shop of Horrors is another one, 1986. One of my all-time favorite horror musicals. It's right up there with Rocky Horror. I know you're not a big fan of that. Everyone's favorite.
Even a pimple on the arse of Rocky Horror.
Everyone's favorite Dark Knight, Michael Keaton, went through those hallowed halls down there when he made Batman. The likes of Tim Burton have been there. Nightbreed was made there, one of my favorite horror films, one of my favorite Clive Barker films. That was made there. Hellraiser was made there. You know,
and let's not forget.
We'll go straight onto this one, right? We were going to save these ones till last, but I think these three are the big British things because it's based in England, so you know,
institution.
It is an institution, right? Bond films. It's pretty much the home of James Bond. Every James Bond has been made to some.
The James Bond stage.
Exactly. Pretty much all of the Hammer horror films were made at Pinewood Studios, and pretty much all of the Carry On films were made at Pinewood Studios. Now, if you are a English person like myself, like Guy, these three things are quintessentially British cinema for us. These are the things we grew up on. I remember James Bond, Hammer Horror, and Carry On are some of the earliest films I can remember watching growing up because my parents had them on the TV.
Yeah.
I might not have fully engaged with what was on the screen. I might not have fully been watching what was on the screen. But on those moments where I did watch and I got the jokes, those stuck with me. And that's why I love these franchises even now. So, what can we say? Pinewood fucking Studios.
Let's face it. Bank holidays. What are bank holidays made of? Bond and carry-ons.
Yeah, Bond and Carry On. Yeah, but that list of movies I just went through, right? That's just from 1930s up to the late 1990s, right? We still got the 2000s to the 2010s here, and we've got great classics. We've got great classics. So, well, modern classics, I'll say. 28 Days Later was made there.
Yeah.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Johnny Depp version, that was made there. The Harry Potter franchise, I don't like to talk too much about that one, but they were made there too.
Oh, fuck Harry Potter. Sorry, but fucking...
The Da Vinci Code was made there. National Treasure was made there. Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, another Johnny Depp film, that was made there. The Bourne Ultimatum was made there.
Yes.
The Dark Knight was made there.
Burton's own Paddy Considine in The Bourne Ultimatum.
Pardon?
Burton's own Paddy Considine in The Bourne Ultimatum.
Oh, I did not know that. One of my favorite comic book films, I don't care what anyone says, Kick-Ass and its sequel were both made there.
Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2 are great.
I still prefer the books, don't get me wrong, because the books are very different, but crying shame we did not get a Kick-Ass 3.
Yeah, definitely.
That's another story. We may have to cover Kick-Ass at some point. We'll earmark that for season 5. You heard it here first. Captain America, the First Avenger, was made at fucking Pinewood.
Yep.
You know, and I'm just listing off random films here as I'm seeing a Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. That was made there. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. The Star Wars franchise, a lot of that was shot at Pinewood.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Let's see. Solo, Mark's favorite film. A Star Wars story. That was made at Pinewood. And then we've got 2020s to present. We've got, let's see here, ones that I've actually seen. Black Widow.
Yeah.
That's more Disney's fault though than Pinewood.
yeah, I gotta say we can't blame Pinewood for any of this.
No. Jurassic World Dominion. God, this gets worse. It's like a trifecta of bullshit. Jurassic World Dominion, Morbius, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Oh God, Pinewood. Everyone goes through an emo phase.
I didn't.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was made there, which for me, like I said when we talked about that in a previous episode, returned to form.
I think we need to say, well, we'd be remiss in saying, if you've got a favourite, down
Drop
there
it in the comments.
Drop it in for us.
But upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine has been filmed there.
I cannot wait for that.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is being made there.
I've not seen Sonic the Hedgehog 1.
I watched the first one with Cassie, and to be honest, right, a bit like you said on Tony's group about watching the Barbie movie, and it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be. That was like me with the Sonic movie. I went in with very, very low expectations, and I ended up really enjoying it because there's just some sort of quite funny moments that come out of nowhere. And the one that caught me off guard is the bit where Sonic picks up a turtle and he's holding him and he's running down the street as fast as he can. And it gets to a point where this turtle just goes and flies out of his hand. So he has to bolt back and get him, grabs this turtle, puts him on the floor, and the turtle's just there like. like
Mhm.
shaking uncontrollably. Honestly, give it a try, give it a watch. But coming up for next year, we have Snow White, which is basically a live action adaptation of the original film.
Mm.
Okay, Disney, you carry on remaking scene for scene in live action what we've already seen because unfortunately nostalgia kicks in and idiots will pay for a cinema ticket to go and see the same film twice. Just saying. But another one that makes me go, ooh,
How's it make you go?
ooh,
You know, there, Mr. Burns. Excellent.
The Fantastic Four scheduled for 2025.
Yeah, interested. Have we got a cast on that yet?
I think so. Actually, I brain fog up here. So I do remember seeing a picture online of a group of actors, and it basically said they have been cast as the Fantastic Four. And I think one of them was actually the guy who plays the Mandalorian in the Mandalorian. I can't remember his name.
Pedro Pascal.
That's the one. Apparently, he's been cast as Reed Richards.
Yeah.
I think I'm not 100%.
Wow, I love this. The great journalism here, Carly. It's a group of actors. Wow.
No shit. No, but you know what I mean? I can't remember who's in the picture. It was one of those I scrolled past it kind of thing on fucking Facebook, and I haven't seen anything else to back it up. So I don't know if it's true, but I just remember seeing it was like a shot from like an event or something because they were all in smart dress. And it just had the caption underneath it, "Meet the Fantastic Four." And apparently
keep talking, just bear with me a second.
Okie dokie. But apparently they have been cast as Fantastic Four. But again, I've not seen anything else to back it up, so I'm not 100% certain or sold on the idea of it. But if it does turn out to be true and we get Pedro Pascal playing Reed Richards,
I'd buy that. I'd buy Pedro Reed.
I've seen him. I know who he is as an actor. I've seen what he looks like, and you give him the grey bits at the side, and you lose the. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But again, it's at this point the fourth time someone's tried to get a Fantastic Four movie up and going. We had the Roger Corman one, we had the early 2000s one, we had the one that people jokingly call the Fan Four Stick because it's got the four in the middle of the fucking name for no apparent fucking reason. We've had that one, and now we've got this one coming along. So maybe fourth time's the charm.
Could be.
Although, to be fair, that one from the 2000-ish era, the first one, isn't so bad in retrospective. If the way comic book movies were for that time when that film came out, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been Daredevil.
Yeah, true.
But the second one, Rise of the... No. Wasted talents across the fucking board.
Wasted time watching
it. I watched it while I had the flu, and I'm glad I slept through most of it.
Yeah.
I slept through the boring bits. So, after the first 30 seconds, and once the credits started rolling, the credits were more entertaining than the film itself.
Well, there you go. So, folks, there we go. I mean,
there's Pinewood in a nutshell.
Iconic.
Yeah, and from the looks of it, only going from strength to strength. They've gone kind of international because we have Pinewood Studios here in the UK. It's about 80 miles outside of London, from what I remember seeing.
So that's about 8 miles out of Heathrow.
That was it. But it has gone kind of international. There are other studios in other countries.
Yeah, there's a Toronto one.
Yeah, there's a Toronto one. There's a Malaysia one.
Everything gets filmed in Toronto.
Yeah, but I think the good thing about that is when you've got multiple studios under that one umbrella, like you have with Pinewood, the movies are all working towards the same thing.
Yeah.
Whereas you get a lot of studios where they're producing so many different things at once. can't keep track of everything, and
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
And the ones that we've mentioned on this list are just the ones over here.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the Bond films, the Hammer horrors, the Carry-ons, all that kind of stuff. They were made here before Pinewood went international. Before, and it even said in the research I'd done that at one point they were the highest. Get my words out. They had the highest output of movies in the world compared to any studio. And you've got to remember, this is at the time when you had like the Hong Kong studios churning out weekly Hong Kongy kung fu action films that were pure schlock. But then you look at what Pinewood was doing; they were making more films than them, and they were better. And especially with like the Carry-On films and the Hammer horror films, it's a lot of the same cast. They live in the UK. They could churn those films out so quick because they didn't have to, oh, well, we got to wait for this person to finish filming this film so they can fly over from LA. No. All right, we'll get Sid on the call on the blower. He'll be around in half an hour. Babs is down the pub having a pint. You know what I mean? Everyone was, it's like big budget theatre group is the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
Bunch of actors that got together down the pub one night and went, should we go to Pinewood to see about making a film? That's what it feels like. Brilliant.
So there we go, folks. That will wrap it up for this week.
Yes, for a rather short episode this week, but we're both recovering.
Yes, we are.
So we're going to give you a nice early night for a change.
Oh, she turned blue.
I turned my light off. It's a signifier that I'm getting fucking tired.
All right. Oh, she's blue. Bit of blue fit dance. Right then, folks. We'll end it there. We will be back next week. Same twat channel. Same twat chime.
Chime?
Chime?
You said chime.
Did I?
Twat chime. Is
twat chime.
Is that a noise you make to summon the twats? Oh.
Twat time. Yeah.
Twat time. Twat time. Time for twatty twat twat.
Well, that's us in a nutshell, isn't it? So there we go. Okay, folks.
I'm stuck.
Yeah, I knew you were going for that.
But right, yes, everyone. It's good night from me.
And it's good night from her.
And we shall catch you in the next one. Mwah. Much love, everyone. Bye.
Take it easy, y'all.